Life is meant to be lived, and I feel like most people, it can it can be kind of a very scary thing for people. It can be very difficult to actually just do that, especially because whenever you're just living life, you'll find that you're not going to be able to have everything in your control. And when a person wants to control every single thing, it's because when you control things, you know what's going to happen, and everything is very predictable. And so you won't be hit with anything unexpected. And that's a very comforting thing. That's a very comforting thing to just know that you won't ever have to worry about something coming out of the blue and disrupting whatever you have going on. Hence why people try to control everything. But whenever you spend your life trying to control everything, that's going to be very exhausting and very disappointing, because what you'll find is there's a lot of things that won't happen the way that you want them to and the way that you expect for them to. It's like no matter how hard that you try to control certain things, at the end of the day, there's just those things that you will not be able to control. And you won't even... Controlling things is trying to live in the future. Like, you are trying to guess what's going to happen next, and you're trying to orchestrate things so that they happen and fall in place the way that you want them to, exactly how you want them to. And living in the future means that you are not existing in the present, which means that you are not living. And life is meant to be lived, instead of it being a thing of, oh my gosh, I don't want this to happen, I don't want to make this type of mistake. I view mistakes as a very negative thing, or a bad thing, or a wrong thing. Nobody wants to be seen as wrong, or nobody wants to make mistakes, or nobody wants to mess up in life. And it's that's a part of living as well, to just allow yourself to go through trial and error, and mistakes are going to happen along the way. People that constantly try to do everything the correct way, you're going to find out that that's just not it's not sustainable. It's going to drain you of your energy. It's going to cause you to be stressed. It's going to cause you to have anxiety. And I know there's some people that feel like not being able to predict the future and to control things is going to cause them anxiety. But the anxiety that you're going to get from trying to control things and it not working out that way is going to be way worse than whenever you just allow yourself to live life instead of trying to predict everything. I used to be exactly like that in the past, where I just would like to have everything happen a certain type of way. I used to have certain routines in place so that everything would be the same instead of something being unpredictable. And there's nothing wrong with having routines in place and being on a repetition type of schedule to a certain extent, though. Where in your everyday life, having a routine of things that you do in your everyday regular basis, versus it being okay, I'm supposed to go to this place at this specific time, and I want these things to happen in this exact order, and then I want to meet these type of people at this time, and I want it to turn into this sort of thing. And it's not saying that you won't be able to meet whatever people that you want to meet. It's just how you're saying that it's going to happen, and trying to put specific time frames on it, and trying to say that this is going to lead to that and to that, and it might be a completely different thing. Overall, this video is just for people that have anxiety. They find themselves to be very stressed out. They find themselves to be depressed. They find themselves to be disappointed. They find themselves to be just wondering, is that what life is supposed to be? And it's you can give yourself permission and allow yourself to just flow. What you'll notice is a lot of things that you are desiring, it can happen, but a lot of times it's not whenever you're trying to force things. Whenever you try to force things, they don't happen the way that you want them to. And the outcome 100% of the time or 99% of the time isn't going to be the outcome that you naturally wanted. Whenever people get hurt in the past, or whenever people get disappointed, or when things don't happen the way they want them to, and it's something that disrupts their energy, it hurts their feelings, it brings down their spirits, they just do not feel very positive, they don't feel very good, they feel wrong, they feel discouraged, they feel just very low. That is something that a lot of people do not want to experience again, and so they avoid certain things so that they won't have to experience those emotions and those feelings in the future. And that's what causes people to try to control every single thing. And to a certain extent, it's not a bad thing it's not a mistake to like use what you learned from the past and implement that into your current reality so that you don't make the same mistakes in the past. It's just a matter of people that are living out of like fear and scarcity and don't want to feel their emotions at all. Like if they're not good emotions, they don't want to feel it. And what you'll find in life is that there's going to be ups and downs regardless of whatever precautions that you take. And if you do manage to keep yourself from experiencing any like lower like emotions, that will stunt your growth and as a person. It's just a matter of like how you deal with it. It's like regardless of like what level you reach like in life, there's going to be ups and downs. Whatever is going on in life, even if this moment is very high, the next moment it might be lower. It's like that is a natural thing of life, and you should not, just because you are afraid or you just know how much it's going to hurt, that's not a reason you should like avoid it at all costs. Because as a human being, we are here to like experience all emotions. It's not all about just everything being good all the time. It's like having those lows is a part of the reason why people appreciate the high. Whoa, there's something in my eye. Hold on. I think a bug flew in my eye. Or maybe it wasn't a bug, but what was I saying? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Having the lows is part of the reason why we appreciate the highs so much, and vice versa. Like whenever everything is so high, like you look back on some of the things that you went through and you're like so appreciative that everything happened because you realize that it all led to this specific moment. And I'm just putting this out there just because I don't want like people to, anyone who's like feeling like that, where they find it very difficult to deal with what they're dealing with and to like how to handle it. It's like regardless of what age you are, it's like we all deal with different types of emotions. It's just a matter about how you decide to handle it. And something else is like, maybe the first time that you go through something, you won't know how to handle it and it will seem like the worst time ever. And it's like, so you use that example to like why you want to avoid experiencing anything else like that at all costs. But whenever you just allow everything to be how it's supposed to be, and say a similar situation happens and it affects you, it's like you can use what you went through in the past to like learn how to deal with that on a better level, so that it's not, people go through things and their response is to be destructive towards themselves because they go through a negative emotion, and that means that they should react in a negative way, is how a lot of people handle it. But it's like you can go through a negative emotion and respond in a positive way even while allowing yourself to feel those negative emotions. You can use whatever emotion that you're feeling and turn that into something constructive and positive, as you are still allowing yourself to feel your emotions until that emotion passes over and you no longer feel that. That is better to do than to feel your negative emotions and then be destructive to yourself, because it's just going to make the situation worse and it's going to cause more damage to yourself overall. Life is definitely meant to be lived instead of predicted or like even understood to a certain extent. It's like as you grow, you'll find that there are some things that you won't have an explanation to, There's some people that will hold on to certain things because they just really strongly want an explanation for certain things, and it's like there's some things that you just need to accept and continue to move forward and understand that you're not going to have an explanation for every single thing. And whenever you attach yourself to wanting to know an explanation for every single thing, that's going to hold you back. It's like there are some things that you can get an explanation for, but you can also explain things to yourself and have an explanation for yourself in order to move past certain things. Because there really are some, especially if it's dealing with another person, there's just some things that you're not going to get an explanation for. And if it is for like the purpose of maybe if you had a situation happen in the past with someone and the situation is done now, but you still feel like you need some type of like explanation from them or like some type of reasoning or like closure, truthfully, a lot of times those people won't give you an explanation. And part of the reason is because they probably don't even know, like whatever reason that they'll give you, like they might say, oh, it's because you're just not as attractive, or you don't have a great personality. They'll say things that, like, you know, could be negative things, and that will feed into insecurities that you already probably had about yourself at that moment. And so now you are allowing that explanation to attach you more to the situation, because now you're feeling like, no, like I need to prove myself, like I'm more than that, or whatever the case may be. And the whole time all it is that this person is dealing with some like childhood trauma, and that carried on to their adult age. They don't love themselves, and that's showing up in how they treat other people around them, hence you dealing with them as well, and then maybe not interacting with you in a very healthy or positive way. And you're thinking that because you have these insecurities, it's kind of like projection. Like you are thinking that you are wanting this person to tell you something else, like I guess to convince you that whatever you are thinking about yourself isn't true. And it's like everything is like a projection, and overall it's like whether you get an explanation or not, it's like it's not really going to change the outcome or the situation. Really what's going to change it is how you end up feeling and thinking about yourself, and like realizing that in this world, like it's really just basically all I'm saying is that you might think that this specific person is like treating you that way because of the things that you think about yourself, and it's like they probably don't even think that, but they might know that you're thinking that, and because they are also still in a dark time, they might say those things, and it just be like a repetitive cycle. Taking a breather. Just know that you are not alone whenever it comes to all of these emotions. Like you might see people that you perceive as people that are happy all the time and never go through any things, but it's just like every single human being on planet Earth goes through those types of things, and they deal with the ups and the downs. It's just a matter about how they choose to deal with that. If you decide to be a person that wants to handle it in a negative way, it might cause the situation to be worse, and vice versa. You might choose to transmute that energy and like react to it in like a positive type of way. In life, period, though, that's what it's about, the ups and the downs. There's always going to be ups and downs. The overall thing is to just focus on how you handle the ups and downs and how you choose to react to the ups and downs. If you resonated with anything I spoke about in this video, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that it may reach other people who may also need to hear this message. Bye.